All right, hope you all have been enjoying this journey with me on this massive collection done here at this big deal in Florida. Part 4 of the video, the last big chunk of good cards I pulled out of this big collection. You guys have seen part 1, we had all kinds of Moxes and Sliver Queens and all kinds of Urzas and Stronghold and Exodus era cards. Part 2, we had all kinds of Legends. We were talking about the Dark and Legends. Part 3, Antiquities, Arabian Nights. Part 4 here, we're talking about some Unlimited and some Revised. So first, I think it's important, we're going to start with Unlimited Edition right here. So these Unlimited cards, I have them sorted where the good stuff is on top, then we have a bunch of bulk. So we're going to go, for example, right after here, right there is where all the commons and uncommon kind of bulk cards are. So this is kind of the most expensive chunk. Again, not really gem minty or gradable, but beautiful cards. Absolutely excited to share this. So let's get into it. Unlimited cards. Still pretty cheap. Still pretty cheap. This is the big dog stuff. I mean, there's essentially no sealed product left being open. Rares, Elvish Archers. Very cool. Very nice cheap card here. We got some Blaze of Glory action, a card that was removed in Unlimited. There is no revised versions. We got Uncommon, Unlimited Berserk. Very, very cool. Not a rare. Again, this card would be 10 times the price if it was reserve list. This is not a reserve list. Even been reprinted in Conspiracy 2, Take the Crown a couple years ago. But still, original versions always hold a premium, which is always an argument against the reserve list. All right, we got some Soul Rings over here. Probably the most reprinted card ever in every Commander product. Still love the originals on there. I think they're still really, really beautiful. Juggernaut, same thing. Very cool card. I'm surprised it's still pretty cheap. Remember, Counterspell is actually an uncommon, not a common. So a lot of people always misconstrue that. Everybody always thinks it's a common card. It's actually not. I think what it is later on in like 4th edition or something. I think it was printed as common. They changed it. I don't remember. But I think that's one of the reasons of the confusion. All right, so again, then you get to these really, I know a lot of wear on these bad boys, but these things have seen some love, everybody. Oh, Force Field. We got Fork back here. Very cool card. It's just absolutely awesome to own that. We got some more Unlimited Edition Soul Rings. Just, ABU Soul Rings are so special, man. These things are just amazing. Now, you got Helm. These are more of the bulk rares of Unlimited. I don't think there's really going to be a lot of potential unless people are really looking for PSA 10, BGS Pristine, BGS 11.2, purple, black, platinum label. I don't know. I don't see much opportunity in that kind of thing in the future. Basalt Monolith, same thing. It is an uncommon, similar to Soul Ring, just a higher supply. The Scepter, again, if this was reserve list and cut off in ABU and not reprinted in like 4th edition, price would be very different. Another Counterspell. Is that revised or 4th? I'm sorry, revised or 4th. Revised or unlimited. Hippies. I love hippies, man. The ABU hippies are probably one of my favorite old school cards. The Alpha hippies is one of my favorite cards of all time. That was one of the original cards I tried to get all the PSA 10s when I first started in 2005 doing this. I got to, I think, what did I get to? 11 PSA 10 Alpha hippies, and I gave up because I couldn't get the rest, and the people wouldn't sell me anymore. All right, we got over here, we got Smoke for a nice little bulk rare. And, of course, Gorgeous. We got a nice, gorgeous, very well-loved Monovolt. Good old school Mark Tedin, whatever you want to call him. And, of course, beautiful Winter Orb. Absolutely stunning card. Very, very iconic artwork on that rare. The statues over here, the Jade Statues, again, it's an uncommon, similar to, like, I kind of classify this similar as like the Juggernaut class. The Soul Ring, the Basalt Monolith. Jade Statue and Juggernaut are kind of in that same ballpark of price ranges. We also have more Berserks over here in the old uncommon slot. There's a couple of them. Force Field. I swear, one of the least talked about, underappreciated cards. This was removed in the Unlimited. There were no revised copies, just an ABU card. And then I remember a couple years ago in Vegas, one of the guys told me about how this artwork connected with the Mox. I think of the Mox Jet or something. That was so amazing. Just little cool stuff like that. I had no idea. They never do neat stuff like that. All right, Natural Selections from Unlimited. Natural Selection is similar to Fast Bond. These are the type of cards I never understood why they never got the attention. This was always ones that I don't know. It's such a cool card. I don't know why it just doesn't do much. Our only piece of unlimited power, kind of part of the old Power 10 there. Some people say the 10th power card is Time Vault. Some people say it's old Library of Alexandria, the Lois. Whatever. Time Vault, our only piece of little played power there. A bunch of little nicks and chips there. A little dented, bent corner, but beautiful, beautiful card. Absolutely awesome there. We do have a Raging River. Never really understood this card. I think it's only expensive because it's unique, rare, and just old. Not a big fan of the card, though. I love the artwork, but the card itself is kind of on the blah side. Word of Commands, card you never hear, and kind of the most plain Jane artwork there is. Not much to say about Word of Command. It's just kind of a strange little card. All right, we got the Unlimited Tutor. Obviously, Demonic Tutor. Not reserve list, been reprinted, but my goodness, if that was reserve list, this thing would be ridiculously expensive. Argument for the reserve list. Cyclopean Tomb. The alpha version without any casting cost because they forgot to print it just blows my mind. That's all I have to say. Smoke, another bulk one there. Copper Tablets. Oh, man. I remember when copper tablets were almost still deemed like bulk for the ABU, man. Just recently, I remember, when I say recently, I mean like the last couple years, they became expensive. Those things were like less than $1 for the longest time. Juggernauts. All right, now Sinkhole is a funny little thing. Common card. Sinkholes, man, there was no revised Sinkholes. They cut them off in Unlimited. Sinkholes were like, Unlimited Sinkholes. I remember these things in my LGS in Florida here when I was a teenager. I remember them being like $1 to $2 a piece, depending on condition. That brings back some memories, doesn't it, everybody? Scepter, gorgeous Scepter. Love the red in the artwork. Such a simplistic, very cool card. Now you got some Unlimited, again, placed in Ice Storm. It's a green card that destroys land. How many green cards actually have land destruction? Am I right, everybody? You got some more Jade Statues. We've already seen those. We got some different stuff right here. We got old Lings, the old LOLs, the Library of Lings, and of course the Hive. Let's see. Regrowth. I think Sedge Troll is an interesting one. The overly dark printed and the funky. Look at that text. You can see the difference, the two different versions. You guys see that? Look how that one almost looks like it's like fuzzy. Like the way they overlaid the text. That one's a little bit better. Isn't that crazy, seeing those two? Sedge Troll's funny. It's a 3-drop for a 2/2, but regenerates. And regenerates with what? Black Man, I think? And this card, for the longest time, was just nothing. And now it's like, wow, there's not many old cards that actually do that. We got the old swords, plowing the swords, consecrate lands. We got some hippies again. Over here, more hippies. We got a Will-o'-the-Wisp, very cool card. Rudy's Ices, you guys know how I feel about my Alpha Icy Manipulators. You guys know I'm obsessed with that card. The old Blast, again, blue, direct damage. How many times does that happen, am I right? Wrath of God, more Tutors. And Stasis, the Force of Nature, and Two-Headed. So before we jump over to the bulk, I want to give a final comment or two. Unlimited cards have always trailed significantly behind value versus the Black Border ABU, the Alpha Beta counterparts. They call them the limited edition Alpha, limited edition Beta. Some people call them LOB, LOAs, whatever silly professional acronym you want to use to feel special. But Unlimited cards, I really feel, I'm very surprised the accessibility of them still. Even in 2020, they still remain overall very, very cheap, especially with the market for collectibles. And not even to mention the revised cards. I'm very surprised Unlimited and Revised are still at the cheap prices they really are. Honestly, I really thought by now we would see a little bit more adjustment. It's not happening, which again, for me, that's good. As long as these prices stay cheap and relatively available, I like that because I can keep accumulating positions in all these cards. Similar like I do with sealed boxes, similar like I did with Weatherlight. I bought Weatherlight boxes for 10 years straight because they were cheap. Same thing with these. As long as the prices remain cheap, I'm going to continue to accumulate and expand the positions. The only time I'm ever going to pretty much end my buying in the old vintage stuff is when the prices skyrocket. In other words, if we see a Pokemon-style Wizards of the Coast WotC-era Pokemon event where everything skyrockets tenfold, then I'm out. I mean, out as in I'm not going to sell, but I'm going to cut off the buying. But until that happens, I'm buying, man. This stuff is cheap. Commons and bulk, I'll skim through it. A lot of lightning bolts, disintegrates, fireballs, tons of lightning bolts again. Then you got a lot of uncommons. Remember, all the wards are actually uncommon right here. Not really any value. You got some castles, tsunamis, light forces, Rudy's girlfriend there. Is that really her? I think it is. Earth Elemental. Is that me? Oh, wait, that's me. I got a self-portrait. Very cool. Warlords, tunnels, shatters, drain lives. Then you get to the commons down here. And more uncommons. Not really anything specific to mention, but I do believe if you can get just these unlimited, more cheap cards and bulk and commons, for the cheap prices they are under $1, you should be accumulating them. Because these old cards are not going to... Eventually, there's going to be a point where there are no bulk old cards. Does that make sense? That's what I think is going to happen. Just, eventually, there's going to be no way to actually classify old cards as bulk. And that's when I think the real market's going to mature and change. So, final part of this amazing series, everybody, is going to be revised. All right, so we're going to take some looks here. So, for the record, revised cards have really been on the move recently. So, we got a nice fork. We got the tutors. We got another fork over here. Let's move some bulk. Let's keep the colors lined up. Vesuvian Doppelgangers, one of the best cards in Magic's history and artwork, in my opinion. Brain Geysers, same thing. Wheel of Fortune, we actually have one already skyrocketed in price. We do have a couple actual revised dual lands right there. There's not really much to talk about. I'm really not going to spend much time talking about revised duels. We've beat that horse so many times. We've talked about revised duels for so many videos and so many years. You know where I all stand, everybody, on these things. You know revised dual lands are like the entry cornerstone of any vintage collection. You got to have a set. Wheel of Fortune, same thing. These things are giving dual lands a run for their money. Forks, same thing. These things are eventually going to be moving similar to the Wheel of Fortunes. Tutors, uncommon, be careful. Copy Artifacts, same thing. Balance, there's actually one of the few good white cards. Regrowth, uncommon, going to be very limited in actual being able to go up in price. Stasis, classic. Fast Bond, just like I was talking about, natural selection and Fast Bond. Crusade, well, I mean, I would tell you guys, no opportunity ever. Not reserved list. Reprinted 4th edition. Crusade is a waste of time, but simply put, because Wizards and the whole culture movement in 2020 made this a thing, now I do recommend having a position in this card. In the past, I would say, who cares? I've never cared about this card. I think it's just a boring, it makes white weenie decks make it a little stronger for if you have a bunch of little weenie creatures, but for some reason, this is a big thing now, so that changes the investment perspective long term. Veteran Bodyguards, again, never a fan of the art, never really a fan of the card, I'm going to be honest. Bad Moon, which is one of the best black cards, mixing up my words there. Love Black Moon. Love Bad Moon. It's still one of the best black cards, by far. This is an underappreciated card. Bad Moon is such a powerhouse because there's a lot of people that play creature decks. I used to do like Demonic Hordes and all the Drudge Skeletons and stuff. Getting all the black creatures and popping them all with 1/1, great card by far. Sedge Troll, already talked about it. Regrowth, talked about it. More Sedge Trolls, more Regrowths. Ivory Tower, Tutors, Mind Twist. Oh my god, such a broken card, am I right? So I'm going to lay these out so we can have a final talk about this. J-Monde Tomb. Never realized how good that card was. Soul Rings. Efreets. More balance. More regrowth. Okay. Now that we got it laid out, I want to kind of end on a final conclusion note conversation with everybody who's followed this 4-part series and going through all these crazy cards. So the biggest thing everyone needs to take away from my perspective, as long as old cards remain cheap, I'm going to continue to pump the market and buy it. Period. Not going to lie. Not going to try to hide what my goals are. If these cards don't go up, I'm going to continue to accumulate them and absorb them because they're amazing pieces of Magic history, and you will never get any new Magic set anything to the level of this. Even though Wizards is probably eventually going to do throwback sets with old frames and this is still the king. Long term, this is the originals. This is the reserve list. It will always remain the king. And I can't wait for years from now when somebody watches these videos and it's 2025, 2029, 2030. And people are going to look back at this stuff. And I'm talking about these cards at, a couple dollars, $5, $4, $8. I can't wait to see comments in the future when people realize how cheap this stuff is. And it's already 26 years old and it's still cheap. Blows my mind. So, now there will be a day. I don't know when. But there is going to eventually be a time when these things are going to readjust in the market, similar to what happened with Stronghold boxes going to $3,000 a box from $1,500. It was a huge jump. It happened very quickly, and it caught everybody off guard. When things like that happen, I do firmly believe those are going to be the times where I'm going to have to reevaluate, because eventually, when all these cards are worth, 5, 10 times what I'm paying today, those are going to be the times I'm going to start kind of, slow my buying down, because now I don't see the opportunity as dramatic anymore. And by that time, I'm probably going to have so many, I'm going to be pretty comfortable with my positions. I still don't have any plans to sell, though. And of course, please, I appreciate all the comments and emails, but please do not send messages asking to buy anything in these videos. Nothing you're seeing is for sale. Nothing. So if you are new to Magic, or my channel's lured you back into Magic, whatever it is, just please keep in mind, what you guys see on this YouTube channel is a result of me being in Magic nonstop for literally 20-something years. What you see today is a result of 25 years of work, accumulation, hustling, buying and selling in the past, and building my business. So now, obviously, you see these crazy things, which is a result of a lifetime worth of work. So just remember that, everybody. Anything big and dramatic in collection, this stuff takes time, a lot of patience, a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of, keep emotions at the door type mindset. So again, anybody can do what I'm doing. It's not hard. You just slowly find deals and slowly add to your positions, and, you enjoy the hobby and the product, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's completely healthy and completely fun, and it's a great hobby and a great way to store an alternative way of building collectibles and wealth. It's a great alternative for long-term investing. I've said it over and over. Collectibles, in addition to real estate with stocks and bonds, is a phenomenal thing. Having your stocks, bonds, and real estate as your three main categories, and adding collectibles, whether it's comics, video games, Pokemon, Magic, coin collecting, stamps, or whatever you're into, it doesn't matter. But adding it to these categories is a fantastic idea, in my opinion. So, but again, I live in my parents' basement, and I'm uneducated. I don't have any licenses. I'm not a professional. So you guys will have to make your own decisions, or you can listen to a guy in a basement. Well, that's it. That's the end of this 4-part monster series of a massive collection. What a ride. What a ride. Be safe, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the series. As always, have a great day.